I love the Youth Theological Initiative. I love the Youth Theological Initiative.
Okay, so I kind of at first I tried to play along because I figured, okay, I knew something was suspicious right away, but then I kept going to different places and I got arrested again. Thank you, Jermaine. Um, and it took me a few seconds to realize, okay, this is rigged and I'm not really in the favored bracket. And eventually something clicked in my head. I was just, okay, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm gonna try and do something. And then it kind of just took off from there.
So I think one question that arose was, what would be a legitimate or effective way of addressing these problems in the system? Because I think it's quite obvious right off the bat that there are problems of inequality, there are problems of prejudice, labeling, discrimination in this system, but also there is a question of, is violent protesting or is like other forms of violence necessarily the best way to address this? And also, if not, then what alternative methods there are?
And they're definitely talking. I mean, to piggyback off of what she kind of said, I was red, so after I continued to be denied and denied, I turned to a life of stealing. And so I stole money, I stole a house, I stole the church's mansion, I stole, I was stealing and I was running from the law, okay? Because I was continuing to be denied and I rioted and I was going around and just causing, mess because I was being denied what I thought I had a right to. I really thought this was gonna be pretty easy, I went around to a table and they were gonna be, nicer than that. I thought it was gonna get better, and it got worse. And so, yeah, I feel like that's what happens nowadays. That's why people turn to a life of crime more so, because I can kind of, what's the word for it? Relate to it now, since I stole a house, but they didn't know it either. But yeah.
One thing I noticed like straight away was as soon as I got the money, I started to budget actually. So when I first went to the job market, I had to get education. So I went to education, filled everything out, and I got a job in engineering, which paid me like $50,000 a year starting out. So as I did that, I started budgeting. So I got like a low-priced apartment with $40,000 still left in my pocket, and a car that I lost. I didn't know where it was. And then I got another job, so I started making more money and keeping it. But I made a mistake without buying any clothes, so I got devastated.
Yeah, some of the things I noticed was some of your strategies for survival. I overheard someone during the break time talking about how they decided to get married so they could pool their resources. Created their own marriage license. I mean, that's really all. Yeah. That's why people move in together, even if they don't get married, because it's so much cheaper to pool your resources. This is one of the reasons why people get married or move in together. All right, I'm gonna take one more, Scott.
Something that struck me right away, I think, was how real this was too, because I kind of knew right away too, that I was not in the higher economic stances, I guess, and because I was constantly turned away from places. I think I went up to collect my paycheck from the bank, and I was second or third in line, and they had the first two people come up, then everyone else behind me, and then I was last. And so something I noticed was that how lost I felt. I had no idea what to do at some points, and I didn't really have anywhere to go because I was afraid of getting caught for loitering. And even the church wasn't really a safe place to go because I felt like I was going to get ripped off.
Church is sweet baby Jesus.
But yeah, so it's just like a really lost feeling. Lost. There's a lot.
We were kind of talking about how whenever we would go out and try to find more people for a protest, they were willing to risk what they already had to change the system. They were like, no, I have this money. I don't want to lose that money over this small thing, even though it wasn't a small thing. It was pretty big. And so the reason it was mostly all like lower people was because we didn't have anything to lose and we were already losing a lot by the system. And so I don't think it was because you were higher on like the economic ladder. I think it was because you weren't willing to lose what you had on the economic ladder.
I love the youth theological